Today, I'll be telling you whether the long-awaited Himeko Nova banner is worth pulling for or not. I'll also gloss over the reruns and stuff, but obviously they aren't as important as Himeko. But before that, if you're saving up those stellar jades for the next big banner, then listen up. I've got the ultimate plug, and it's called Kardz. Why pay full price when you can get way more bang for your buck? Check this out. That's 6,480 Oniric Shard Pack. Normally it's $100, but with Kardz' new user discount, you can snag it for just $82 USD. That's a solid 21% off. And the monthly pass? It's only $4. Every single gift pack gets a juicy discount too. Talk about a steal. But here's the best part. They've got self-service top-up now. No waiting in line and no annoying customer service. Just log into your game and boom! Your currency hits your accounts in under a minute. Fast, secure, and totally safe. I've been using Kardz for ages and never had a single issue. Payments is a breeze as well, super convenient, just like ordering takeout. I always get my best deals on Kardz. Honestly, it's my secret piggy bank for Star Rail. So, if you're tired of burning your wallet on the official store, just use the link in the description to save some money. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Anyways, as you might have known, Himeko is currently the best DPS for low costing. This doesn't mean she is the best DPS in general, since low cost in the Grand 2026 is generally determined by how favorable the game is treating you. But it is still an angle of approach when deciding the outline of a DPS's viability in the meta. Some people might say Himeko low-cost performance is fake because of E4 welts, in which 1+5 standard is considered to be equal to 4 cost, and I agree with the sentiment that E4 welts should be considered 3 costs, but that doesn't mean he is the most efficient way to get Himeko's lowest cost clears. You can simply just choose not to use E4 welts and go for an actual limited cost like Himeko's E1 and make it 2+0 instead, which is what I recommend people to do. For some reason, new gen LARPers have failed to understand the cost system that I made, which is annoying, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. As much as everyone hate retards LARPing E4 welts at 0 cost, even without using that perversion of my system, Himeko is still the best DPS at low cost. I really want to talk about how the cost system is being perverted to new heights with people repolling the same thing 100 times to get the results they want, or even funnier, trying to claim that the Genius archive isn't used for rankings, but that's way too off topic. Even if all that bullshit is the main reason why people think Himeko is a fraud at low cost, I'm just here to remind you all that E4 welts isn't mandatory, not to yap about how cost system is being misused. At the end of the day, wealth is just an inefficient path that people try to paint as the better cost investment than any other actual better cost investments. Regardless, as I've said before, other factors like versatility in multiple modes will supersede low cost. Like, for example, if a character is worse than Arlen or Hook in a game mode for literally any reason under the sun, their low cost performance is overridden. But that has nothing to do with Himeko, as her kit has 0 glaring issues that would cause that to happen in any situation or any game mode, no matter what the conditions are. People say she's the second main push, so she's cursed to suffer as the other two before her, but she actually managed to break the curse by not having any real kit flaws at all. Not only is she good at low cost, her vertical is good enough to where she can 0 AV every single AS boss of the current rotation and the next rotation too, which is honestly kinda insane to think about. Her massive out-of-turn damage and generally high player agency with alternating companion protocol makes her feel more like a facial than the traditional second main push of a version like Firefly. With most of her damage not being tied to AV and having many options to play her, she spits in the face of all previous second main push kit designs, and, as I've said before, that aforementioned brain-dead kit design was given to Silverwolf, the fake anniversary unit that got her spots due to political reasons in real life. The only flaw that she realistically have is her lack of dedicated supports, but that's made up for by her insane flexibility. She's by far the most flexible character in the game in terms of teammates' usage. In fact, she's so flexible that I'm going to show her using 12 different teammates to 0 AV all AS nodes and 0 cycle plate consecutively. In fact, she's so flexible that I'm going to show her using 12 different teammates to 0 AV all AS nodes and 0 cycle plate consecutively. Meaning, if I use Tribi on one clear, I can't use her again, or if I use Evernight and RMC, I won't be able to use any variants of those two in another clear. That will show her flexibility and her capabilities when vertically invested, which are her two most contentious points. Everyone is hard struck on low cost and only showcasing low cost, which really annoys me because at the end of the day, we need to be comprehensive and creative with what we showcase. The fact that there were less than a handful of 0 AV clears is perplexing, since Himeko is really broken for this. All this to say, Himeko is the face sale of 4.x. She has no real weaknesses at all in her own kits. The only flaw you can put on her isn't even tied to her kits, and she's the best DPS in a vacuum and would be considered the best if not for the existence of Mono Rem. All these conditions are enough to qualify for being the best in a different era. An era without Mono Rem, because even without the Vietnam cheaters getting her nerfed, she still wouldn't be able to beat them. After all, even Robin replacing the weakest member of Mono Rem is still just me coping and most likely won't happen. Tangent aside, if you aren't going for extreme vertical Mono Rem, Himeko is 100% worth pulling for. She's the best option, being second to God isn't an anti-feat. When comparing her to everyone else, she just wins in her only competition, being maybe Evanescence, since Eva can also do every mode with no weaknesses. But they use different supports anyways, with Himeko being able to use every support, so that's not that relevant. If you're planning to get her, then go for her Idolins first instead of Light Cone, since her E1 and E2 actually changes the way she's played significantly, opening up way more rotation possibilities, while her S1 being good is still just another damage amp in the end. If you still aren't convinced, there's also reasons to pull her outside of gameplay. For me, even if she wasn't this strong, I would have still pulled her by virtue of her being Himeko, the OG mommy character from when the game launched. Even when her standard version was considered the worst 5-star, I still wanted her on my team, and I still showed her, eventually even pouring limited pulls into the standard banner just to get her. Look-wise, she's peak being a lady model and all, and lore-wise, she's literally Firefly done right. She embodies the same trope of having a terminal illness, yet daring to imagine a future where she gets to achieve her dreams, but without all the girlfriend flop bullshit tied to Firefly. To put it simply, even if you don't pull for Maida, you should still pull for Himeko. I was going to E6 S5 regardless of how her kits turned out. Before Siren, before even Acheron, there was Himeko. That's a good place to end off the video, but we still have reruns to talk about, so I'm just going to skim over those real quick. Danhun's sustain is obviously not worth pulling for. Negative value dog shit. He's a sustain unit after all, and he was given out for free pretty recently too. If you pull him, you either love him too much or you're trolling yourself. Same case with Sparcy. She's also just kinda mediocre, with her only real use case being high toughness shred in AS for Evanescence. Outside of that, her main DPS capabilities aren't that good compared to the video's topic, Himeko. And the game is forcing her to be tied to Silver Waste, which is actual dog shit, so there's that. I never really recommend Elation DPSs in general, except Evanescence, who is different from how they usually are, playing like Saber, so she's an exception. The last rerun is actually worth considering. If you're making a vertical mono-rem team, which you should, then pull her. If you aren't trying to do that, then Himeko takes priority. Do note that Evernight is still the low-cost entry to a mono-rem team, so she's still worth considering without the extreme vertical investments and such. One other thing about her is that her E6 can be more harmful than helpful. While offering much more damage, she actually bricks Siren's charge and bricks your toughness damage, which can be detrimental if you're trying to 0 AV stuff, which at that investment I hope you're doing. That's why I'd recommend getting it last after every other Rem E6 if you even want it. Well, you've reached the actual end. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one.
The way I go through with red roses burn my eyes. Cold rain starts pouring hard. I've been called upon. Never let you go is why I did them all for a chance at least to live in your way. Love of you is my most cherished thing, so stay alive bravely. I wish I could wake from the dream each time I dream. There's a long night coming soon. I shine as let's shine. Never let you go is what I did them all for a chance at least to live in your way. Love of you is my most cherished thing, so stay alive bravely. Never let you go is why I did them all for a chance at least to live in your way. Love of you is my most cherished thing, so stay alive bravely.
「私たちがつないだ星の光は誰の未来を照らすことになるのかしら」「私たちがつないだ星の光は誰の未来を照らすことになるのかしら」